Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the Spain News Update. And Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has finally set a date for the arrival of Spain's own COVID-19 vaccine. But more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel by buying merchandise, and a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your continuing support. Now, let's get into the news. And as I said, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has finally set a date, well, almost set an exact date, for the arrival of Spain's COVID-19 vaccine. The president of the government, Pedro Sánchez, has revealed when the Spanish vaccine against COVID-19, which is being developed by Spanish researchers, will be ready. He has assured that Spain will have its own vaccine against COVID-19 before the end of the first half of 2022. The president highlighted the political decision made by his government with the implementation of a vaccination strategy, which he said is now a world example, with 90% of the population having a complete vaccination schedule, and which has also led to the manufacture of doses in the country and the commitment to a Spanish vaccine. Before the end of the first half of the year, we will have our own vaccine, he stressed, adding that the country will thus demonstrate that it can tackle the pandemic with its own means and resources. So there we go, Spain's own COVID-19, ready before the end of the first half of 2022, and Spain is a world example when it comes to vaccination, with close to 90% of the population completing their vaccination schedule. And Sánchez again showing that he loves patting himself on the back. Now there's some good news for cannabis users out there when it comes to COVID-19, and it is that cannabis has properties to curb coronavirus, but smoking joints does not prevent infection. The Oregon State University study, Cannaboids block cellular entry of SARS-CoV-2 and emerging variants, had every chance of going viral, and it has. According to the results obtained by the researchers, which were published on Monday in the Journal of Natural Products, 2 compounds found in hemp plants were able to prevent the entry of the SARS-CoV-2 spike into the isolated human cells used for the research. The compounds in question are precisely the acids that are converted into the active cannabinoids after heat, that is, the ones that get high. They are cannabigerolic acid and cannabidiolic acid. So some good news for cannabis users here in Spain, and we know that they are plenty with the results from that study carried out by the University of Oregon. Now let's have a look at a summary of the health situation in Spain, and we can see the accumulated incidence rate now sitting at 3,192. Hospital plant pressure remains high at 14%, and there are 17,436 COVID patients hospitalized around the country. And ICU pressure also remains high at 23.6%, and there are 2,224 COVID patients in ICU. Now, Spanish police have recently pulled off another big drug bust, and they have arrested the Spanish Pablo Escobar of heroin in Toledo. Agents of the National Police have arrested in Toledo the main importer of heroin in Spain, the Spanish Pablo Escobar of heroin, and have dismantled the organization he allegedly led in an operation that has resulted in 9 other detainees, and in which 55 kilos of this substance have been seized, one of the largest seizures of this drug in recent years. The detainee had his base of operations in the province of Toledo and made large imports of heroin from the Netherlands for subsequent distribution in Madrid, Castilla y León, Castilla-La Mancha and Extremadura, according to the National Police in a press release on Sunday. Along with the ringleader, 6 men and 3 women who form part of the organization have been arrested, and 8 searches have been carried out in different homes in Madrid, Toledo and Cáceres, as well as in a car dealership and a garage, both in Cáceres. Of the 10 arrested, 8 have been imprisoned. So Spain's biggest heroin dealer, the Pablo Escobar of heroin here in Spain, arrested in Toledo. Now, anybody who has ever rented a flat in Spain's capital, Madrid, knows that it can be an expensive experience. And apparently Madrid is the 6th city in Europe with the highest rent increase, but the 9th cheapest city. The rental market saw prices rise across Europe in 2021, and Spain was not spared from the trend. Its capital city appears in Housing Anywhere's International Index as the 6th most expensive city on the continent in terms of rent, with a year-on-year increase of 14.2%. Ahead of Madrid are only Milan, Vienna, Reykjavik, Hamburg and Berlin, which after the repeal of the law to cap rents has moved to the top of the list, with an increase of 39.44%. In October 2020, the average rental price of a flat in Madrid was €1,104. A year later, the cost rose to €1,261, but in spite of the sharp rise, it is still one of the cheapest places in Europe. Specifically, it is the ninth most affordable city, with a gap of more than €700 compared to Paris, the most expensive destination. At the other end of the scale, at Turin and Valencia, where a flat is less than €900, according to the platform's latest report. So rent's up 14.2% in Madrid, and the average price of a flat here over the €1,200 mark. And with salaries stagnating and high inflation, it's a wonder anybody can afford to live here. Now, the Empty Spain, or España Vaciada platform, is making headlines again, and it's calling for rebellion against abandonment. This is the historic moment to change the country, it says. The Empty Spain candidates for the upcoming elections in Castilla y León on the 13th of February have given their first official pre-campaign event in Ampudia, Palencia, from where they have proposed to go out and win to bring the voice of the territories to the institutions and reverse the dramatic situation of depopulation in the region. They criticise decades of neglect by all the governments, a model of state that they consider erroneous, and so much political blah 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 that does not turn into anything concrete. We believe that being less should not diminish our rights or take away our future, they summarise, calling for a national pact for the territory. So the Empty Spain platform calling for rebellion against the abandonment of many parts of the country, especially in places like Castilla y León. And they're sick and tired of so much political blah blah blah. Join the club. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Simpaticaism. I live near Nerja and have never heard anyone complain about crime in the area. Yes, Simpaticaism, thanks for the comment and adding to the conversation that we have been having in recent times about an article that was published in the Express newspaper last week. It was about an unhappy British expat who was sick of living in Spain, went back to the UK, and one of the biggest problems he had with Spain, and especially Nerja, was the amount of crime in the area. And the comment section here last week was pretty divided as to whether Nerja is a crime hotspot here in Spain or not. You, as you say in your comment, say that it isn't, but we had one person last week say that he was robbed 4 times, and I think he also said he had his car stolen there. So the mystery continues. Who is this unhappy expat, and is Nerja a crime hotspot in Malaga? One here from High Top Production. I've been in Barcelona for about 4 days and know there is a curfew in place till 1 a.m. Many locals have been telling me that Catalonia will lift the curfew around the 20th of January. Is this true? Yeah, High Top, thanks for the comment, and I hope you are enjoying your time there in Barcelona. And I think the information that you have got from people is correct. The curfew in Barcelona and other parts of Catalonia is going to finish on the 21st of January. I think it was supposed to have come to an end last week, but it was extended given the high COVID infection rates in that part of Spain. So a few more days to go, and then you should be able to stay out after 1 a.m. One here from Lady P58. The tests in the UK are not free. They are distributed through our NHS, funded by taxpayers. Yeah, lady, thanks for the comment, and thanks for pointing that out, that antigen tests there in the UK are not free. They are in fact funded by the taxpayer. And I think everybody knows that. Obviously they don't grow on trees, so somebody has to pay for them. But I think what people were getting to last week when they made those comments about the test being free is that they don't have to pay for them out of their own pocket like we do here in Spain. In the UK, they are funded by the taxpayer and given out free to people living there, whereas here in Spain we have to pay around €3 to get our hands on one of these tests. One here from William. We cancelled our trip to Spain. Sorry to ruin the economy. I really wanted to spend my money on food, wine, and that wonderful ham. Maybe next year. I really enjoy your reports. Yeah, William, thanks for the comment. Good to see that you enjoy the reports, and sorry to see that you are not coming to Spain this year. And it's a shame you won't be able to spend your money on food, wine, and that wonderful Spanish product, Iberian ham. But don't worry, I'm sure that there will be plenty of those things available the next time you get down to Spain. One here from Angie. The self-employed social security changes proposed make no sense. If I were earning €4,050, I'd pay 24% tax plus €1,267 in social security and be left with €1,811 before I'd paid anything else. Time to move countries to a kinder tax regime? Yeah, Angie, thanks for the comment and referring to an article that we saw last week about proposed changes to the social security quota system here in Spain. And you're right, basically that is what you would be left with after you paid your tax and social security. As we know, the government wants to change the system and make self-employed people pay social security based on their real earnings. Unlike the current system where you pay a minimum or a maximum amount of social security regardless of how much you earn. So maybe it is time to move to a friendlier tax regime, or at least start to look for one. And finally, one here from Stephen. Hi Stuart, thanks for the update. I'm flying to Spain tomorrow, really pleased to be getting out of the UK. I'll be following you over there also. Keep up the good work, mate. Cheers, Steve. Yes, Steve, thanks for the comment, and good to see that you have been able to get out of the UK and have a holiday down here in Spain. Now, I imagine that you are now here, so let us know how you are getting on and where you are. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.